Hello everyone, welcome to my show Learn Something New with Alamdar UpworkWala. So I am Alamdar UpworkWala. I'm from Yahoo Campus. I'm 30 years old. Today we have a special guest who embodies the perfect blend of authenticity and technology expertise. He's on a mission to help use all navigate the digital world with a human pitch. Um, so, hello sir, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us today. So my first question is, can you tell us a little about yourself and your background?
Definitely. So my name is Michael Duffy. I've been a technology and cybersecurity coach for about 20 years in Canada. I'm currently located outside of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I grew up with computers. So 1993, 1994, my parents brought home a computer. That was before the internet. So the term I like to use is I'm old school. I learned how to use computers before the internet. So I've got a lot of experience with computers and have seen a lot of, I've experienced a lot of people losing a lot of data on their computers. So uh, when I graduated from high school, I decided that I wanted to go, I knew a lot about computers, but I wanted to have, a piece of paper proving I knew a lot about computers. So I went to school and I got a Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Systems, and that was 2003. So 20 years ago, I graduated from university. That is my age. I'm in my 40s. Uh, and after graduating from university, I just kept getting more education. So continuous education is very important. I've got a few other technical certifications, and I realized maybe 2 years after graduating from university, I wasn't going to be happy with a normal 9 to 5 salaried job. I have a thirst for knowledge and a thirst for helping people. I want people to understand how their technology works. And especially if they're in a business, I want them to understand how important it is to, what term are we going to use? It's important to document all your data and also know how to recover in case of disasters, because disasters happen every single day, and most people, it's very hard on them emotionally and financially if they lose access to their computer or all their pictures or all the personal data that they've been collecting for years. It's very hard for them to move past that, and I want to make your life stress-free. So 2005, I started a business where I helped people with their computer. I started business. It was actually a franchise. So I joined a group of individuals who already had a business that was running, and I ran that. That lasted for 16 years. So 2 years ago in 2021, I decided that I wasn't happy with my business. I was making good money and I had a lot of new friends, but I wasn't really happy with the trajectory of my life. I don't believe I knew what my purpose was. I knew I was an authentic human and I'm trustworthy and I don't lie and I tell people I tell people the truth about their technology and the state of their technology and what is good with their backup plan and what can be improved. But I don't believe I was fulfilling my life's purpose. So I'm like, you know what? I'm 40 years old. I can start from scratch. And I had that thought for 10 years. So it took me 10 years to decide that I had enough courage to start from scratch and start brand new. And I started DontGetHacked, .ca and .com. We're also branching out into Dubai in early 2024. So we're taking this 2-year-old cybersecurity and technology coaching business, and we're going to go international with it because I know there's so many more people around the world who need a little bit of they need a technology coach. They need somebody they trust to answer their questions about their technology. And I know there's a ton of YouTube channels out there, but sometimes the information's not really accurate, and we want to make sure all the information that we're giving to you is accurate and it's always updated to keep up, because of course technology changes very quick. So that's a little bit about me. I've been in the technology world for a long time.
Yes, all right, of course. So my next question is, what inspired you to pursue a career in technology and data backup?
Inspiration for my career. I always liked helping people. At the end of the day, I like helping people, and what I understand is technology, just because I grew up with it and everybody uses it. And I find that sometimes it can be hard for people to find somebody they can trust to give them advice without asking for anything in return. So I provide, I have a podcast where it's called Don't Get Hacked, Call Me for Help, and it's do-it-yourself steps. Um, so I provide complimentary do-it-yourself help, and then of course we charge for help when it's done with you and and we do it for you. So we have a few different price points because I want to make sure you trust the knowledge that I'm giving to you. And what got me started was just that I understand technology. Some people like cars, and some people like real estate, and some people like carpentry and plumbing. Those are okay fields. I don't have a passion for it like I do with helping people. I'm very, my personality, I'm very patient. And technology, you need a lot of patience to understand technology and to also provide that customer service on the back end, because some customers don't have a lot of questions and other people have 10 years worth of questions. And you want to make sure that if people have reached out to you for help, that you're giving them honest answers. And just every day you just strive to be better and give better answers to people.
Yes, thank you so much. That is great answer. So my next question is, what is specific skills or expertise and do you bring to the field of technology and data backup?
Specific skills. Well, I've seen a lot of disasters. So during my previous career in the franchise I had, we would get a lot of emergency calls where hackers have attacked businesses. The city I live, Calgary, Alberta, had a big flood about a decade, 10 years ago, which wiped out a lot of computers. I live in Canada, so there's always forest fires, there's floods, there's all these natural disasters that unfortunately end up affecting everybody. And the last thing people think about is their computers. And my first question my specific skill set is experience, because I've dealt with many, many disasters. And since I have a Bachelor of Science and a lot of technical training with computers, the number one thing I learned in university was a 3-2-1 backup system. And it still applies today, where you have 3 copies of your data in 2 different locations, with 1 copy of your data being an off-site location. That off-site location is usually what saves businesses when they've been hacked or have experienced flood, fire, and theft, because if you don't have a robust 3-2-1 data backup plan, and you don't have a copy of your data in a second copy of your data in a secure place, there's no way for you to recover all your data. So a lot of, proper training through university, and then a lot of life lessons seen through the lens of everybody, of all the customers we've helped in the past 20 years.
Yes, of course. So could you share a current project where you successfully helped someone fix their technology issues?
Perfect question. So because I fix technology, there's a lot of variety because sometimes it's, cloud services, sometimes it's computer, sometimes it's upgrading laptops. But I had a really unique one on Friday, which I've posted on my social media. I have a client and they have a company where they have these specialized mini robotic cranes that we're in Canada and they bring them in from the Netherlands. And these are really advanced robotic cranes they're like remote control toys, but the crane was shipped to him and it worked and then it broke and then he was sent a whole bunch of instructions. So it's not this particular story is not about data backup, but it's about the depth of my skill set. Because when I went to university, I started in electronics engineering technology, but then I changed to computer science and computer programming because I'm like, you know what? Understand electrical circuits and building electronics and circuit boards and motherboards, but that's not where my passion lies. My passion lies in helping the end user with the, we call it the desktop troubleshooting or dealing with the technology once it's in front of the end user. So in this specific example on Friday last week, uh, the customer has a crane that costs 6 figures. So more expensive than some people's vehicles. So it's this fancy crane and it's on my social media. There's videos and pictures of it. And the customer was sent a bag of parts. And at the end of the day, it took us a few hours. And what we needed to do was follow the instructions, very important. Number one step, follow the instructions that the engineers sent us, but we had to rewire the motherboard. So we had to cut wires and just move a bunch of wires around, disconnect motherboards, and typically, I feel that the instructions were outside of the crane operator's skill set, right? Because he had done some of this work previously, but he's like, Mike, can you help me with this? And I'm like, sure, send me the instructions. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I don't feel comfortable with doing the changes, I'm going to tell you up front. But I looked at it. I'm like, we're just moving wires around from one motherboard to another. And it's 22 pages of instructions, but if it's a beautiful day and we take our time and we have two sets of eyes looking at the instructions and following the instructions, I'm sure it's straightforward and easy. And we were successful. The crane, the 6-figure crane now works and he's able to go and use it to help his customers and grow his business with new customers. So I'm always up for a challenge because at the end of the day, what is technology? It's moving parts and motherboards and circuits, and if you follow the instructions and you're confident in your skill set, you're going to be able to solve whatever comes your way.
Yes, it is a great answer. So, can you explain the importance of data backup in simple terms for those who may not be familiar with it?
All right. So really at the end of the day, data backup is straightforward and it's important because if a disaster, disasters could be theft, user error, flood fire, hackers. There's a bunch of different things you have to be worried about when it comes to technology. But I think a lot of it ends up being end user errors and being unsure what you're doing. And sometimes you may not have important data to back up, but that's a very small percentage. Maybe senior citizens who are using a tablet for watching entertainment or shows. That tablet may not be important to back up. However, for most people, they'll have contacts like people's names and phone numbers, maybe a digital calendar with important schedules on it, photos, and anything else that you're creating on your device. And um, if your and computers fail all the time. So if your computer fails, it can be very there's the financial part of it. data recovery, if you send your broken device off to a service that provides data recovery, in my experience, it's several hundred or thousands of dollars to get that data recovered. And it's not going to be perfect either. So file names and folders, usually when you do data recovery, you lose all your file names and folders. You're just going to get what you're going to get back from the data recovery place is going to be a folder of pictures and a folder of Word documents and just generic files that they were able to find. You're not going to have names, like all your organization, folder names, file names, all that stuff's going to be missing when it comes back from data recovery. And that can be very traumatizing emotionally for people. So data backup can be very simple. We just want to document what you're using: contacts, calendar data, pictures, Word, Excel files, whatever things you're creating on your phone, your tablet, or your computer. We just want to make sure we've got a second copy. So that could be as simple as a USB thumb drive or an USB external hard drive. And it could be fancier, like automatic encrypted online backups. So it's the terminology, like data backup, is really simple to do for most people. It just takes a little bit of planning, and you don't even really need a lot of computer experience. You just know that you want your files in more than one place. And once you have your stuff copied to that USB flash drive or external hard drive, send it off to your mother or send it off to your grandparents. Just make sure you've got that second copy of your data at somebody else's house. Or that's why the cloud is really convenient, because of course floods and fires can affect geographical areas. But it's just, knowing what you have that's important to you. You may think none of your files are important, and if that's the case, maybe backups are not going to be really important to you. But for most people, losing their pictures, losing their contacts and video files or whatever, it will stop their day. It will stop their week. Like, they cannot move on because they lost their phone. They lost their Android or they lost their iPhone on the bus or on the plane or at school, and it's gone, and they have no second copy of that data. So my goal is to make your life stress-free, and the easiest way is just to document what you have and make sure you've got a second copy of it.
All right, that's great answer. So, what challenges have you encountered while working with technology, and how did you overcome them?
Well, I encountered challenges with technology every single week because my customers call me to tell me that they've spilt water on their keyboard, or they've dropped their computer down a set of stairs, or whatever the case may be. I run into frustrating technology all the time. However, I have a lot of experience with troublesome technology, so I know the shortcut. Rather than spending hours and hours and hours fixing a broken computer, I am just going to advise my customer that, hey, it's going to be X amount to fix the old computer. Well, let's just buy you a new one and let's restore all your data to the same place. And usually that, it depends on their budget as well. Some people, the budget may not be able to afford a reused or a new computer, and they need to use that broken one. But I find that if you're on, if I as a technician am running into issues, I just explain I'm honest with my customers. I say, this is what the problem is. And there's 4 ways to move forward, and I give them their options because I don't want to waste my time fixing something that's going to take too much time and effort. And I want them to understand that my time and effort costs money. So usually spend 20, 30, 40 minutes looking at what the current problem is. And, maybe a website's got hacked or this or this or this. And I'm like, the easiest way to go forward is moving forward. We just need to know how important it is to fix the old broken thing, or if we can just ignore it and move on with something new. So computers break, data gets lost. some people get phased out with their software, right? They're really used to using Microsoft Office 2000, like something really, really old. And I know that all their errors are because the software they're using is really old. And I just have to tell them, you know what? We're going to set you up with something new and then give you a week or two to learn that learning curve of that new technology. And I'm sure you're going to be happier with the new technology versus dealing with the ancient, broken, old system.
Alright, that's a great answer. So, what do you enjoy most about your work in technology and data backup?
Relationships with new customers. At the end of the day, I know the best way to grow your business is you need more friends. You need more relationships because in my business, I prefer to have customers on a monthly contract to keep so I can hire employees and keep staff. And that requires more relationships. And it's also nice to have more successful relationships breeds referrals. So if two people like me, they'll refer their friends. And that is a more cost-effective way of building a business compared to you still have to advertise. You still have to have flyers out there. You still have to, be in magazine articles and write books and have a podcast. And you still need to be omnipresent with all these marketing endeavors, but at the end of the day, referrals are the best way. It's what I appreciate the most about my business is if I'm advertising to new people, they may not trust me right day one. They may not trust me until they see my experience and they go watch my podcast and they read my book and they read the newspaper articles. But referrals will trust you from day one, and you don't know where that relationship's going to go. You don't know where that relationship is going to go and how fruitful it's going to be and what new experiences you're going to have from those new relationships because in this summer alone, like I'm an author with a book. My author's in Texas, so I visited him in Texas in July, and then I've got all these new friends in Texas. And then later in July, I went to New York City to meet the people from our entertainment company, and I've got more relationships from there. And I just came back from Dubai, and all these new friends in Dubai want me to come and help them with their technology. So it's a great feeling to be confident you can help people with their technology and educate them about the importance of data backup so they understand why they need it and make sure it's not a scary thing. And then they're just going to refer you to all their friends. And it's a really nice feeling. That's what I love most about it. It's just new relationships and new friends.
Alright, great. So, can you describe a situation where you had to communicate in complex technical concept to a non-technical audience?
Yeah, so I think this is why I created my podcast, Don't Get Hacked, Call Me for Help. It's on mupoentertainment.com and on my YouTube channel. Generally, most people don't really understand technology, and a lot of the concepts just have a lot of steps and a lot of details, and that's why you want to have step-by-step instructions and visuals, right? And as I kind of referred to, there's a lot of content on YouTube, but not all of it. When you go to watch something on like how to fix your computer or how to fix your car, you might be searching through 10, 20, 30 videos to find the precise steps that you need. And I get so many repeat questions like, why is my computer slow? Or how do I back up my iPhone or my Android? Or Mike, I don't understand what Bitcoin is. Please explain it to me. So I thought, hey, I'm going to make a podcast. We've got 13 episodes right now. And I just the other one is passwords. A lot of people are really negative about passwords and they just say negative things about having to make passwords. And I have one episode where it's step by step And I even have like paper documentation to go along with it. And it's how to make strong, secure passwords you can remember, because I know everybody dislikes making new passwords. But I'm like, it's really simple, as long, rather than making something complicated with a lot of special characters, the strongest password you can make is 16 characters. Well, 16 characters sounds like a lot, but really all it is a sentence with 3 or 4 words in it is a phrase. Every human can remember a phrase, right? So for each password you need to make, just think of a phrase that's going to remind you. It's actually it's a strategy that comes from Dale Carnegie, where if you meet somebody in person and you can't remember their name, you're supposed to come up with a phrase or a sentence, something crazy that makes you remember their name. Well, I took that concept and I used it for passwords. So we know that with passwords, if it's 16 characters long, it cannot be brute forced by any hacker or any computer system. You cannot brute force something that's 16 characters long yet. It's not possible yet. Maybe with AI in the future, but right now, if it's 16 characters long, no computer can guess it. So just make up a phrase. 16 characters is easy, 3 to 4 words. Yes, of course, you're going to have to use an upper and a lower case and probably a special character, but I made a whole episode of my podcast about making how easy it is for you to go through go through all the websites that you use, write down all the passwords, or and then every year or twice a year, do the spring cleaning for your apps and websites that you use, and just go through and make sure you've got strong, secure passwords that you can remember. And um, that's the content I'm making for people to I know computers and technology are frustrating, and people just kind of look at it and get overwhelmed and want to run away, and then they let their kids help them, right? At the end of the day, you're helping out your parents with their technology if they don't understand it, right? And I want to make sure that I'm making content on my podcast show that no matter what age you are, no matter what your computer experience is, Mike from Don't Get Hacked is stepping you through really basic do-it-yourself steps. So yeah, I think I've made passwords really simple for people to they still don't like them, and they still hate when they have to make them, but I see people now. I run into people at events and they're like, Mike, I learned about your password, about your podcast 2 years ago, and I keep watching it because I still hate passwords, but at least you made it fun and easy, because now I just make up phrases that I can remember, and that's how I, log into my bank and use Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff. So
Yes, alright. So my last question is, what advice would you give to someone who want to start a career in technology and data backup?
well, my advice is it's going to take you a while to find out what you really want to do, because I started out in electronics engineering technology. I thought I wanted to design computers and technology. And 3 months into that course, I switched, and then I went into computer science, so computer programming. And I'm not even in the computer programming world anymore, but I've got papers to support that I know what I'm talking about. I'm looking at my wall in my office, and I have probably about a dozen degrees and certifications up on the wall. So life's a journey, and you may go to university or whatever type of schooling for one thing, and you may find out 3, 5, 10 years later, it's a building block on your path to your ultimate career. So I've got a master class coming up on Wednesday, so 2 days from now, and it's really, you need to discover your purpose. And there's a couple of building blocks to your purpose, but it's if I can find my notes here, but it doesn't really matter. You're gonna find things you're passionate about. You need to you need to find things that you define what your passions are, define what your values are, and you'll usually find a way to monetize that. So whether or not you're going to be a salaried employee or self-employed, read as many books as you can about what you enjoy, because when you find what you love, you kind of follow that path, and then, you know, you're gonna find out if you like, you may love technology and find out you're in sales later on rather than actually, and there's so many, the technology field is so vast. You don't want to get stuck in something that you despise and hate. You want to get stuck in something you love doing and find a way to monetize what you love doing. So for me, I got into I started as an employee at a help desk. So I started a help desk for a cable TV company. I lasted that for 2 years. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go become self-employed and help people with computers. And that took 17 years. I did that for 17 years, so almost 2 decades. And I loved what I did, but I did not like the systems I was using. So it took me till 40 to actually find out what my real purpose was. So, be very patient and learn as much as you can, because if you read a lot of books and learn quickly, you will quickly find what you love and don't love doing.
All right, great advice. So thank you, Mr. Mike, for sharing your
Thank you.
valuable scientific expertise and your mission to bring abstracts into the world of technology and data backup. It has been a conversation. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. Have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you.